Comfort is great, sleep is very underrated. But to me, a home should be something more. It should be a proof of concept, a working prototype for the future. If we're going to build a thriving civilization on Earth and eventually on Mars, we need to start living like that future is already here. So when you step inside this so-called palace, what you're actually walking into is a fully integrated ecosystem. Solar tiles collect energy directly from the sun. Walls breathe, literally filtering and optimizing the air so you're always surrounded by the ideal environment. Robots handle the tedious work so humans can focus on the creative things we're actually good at. And yes, occasionally they bring snacks. I mean, that is why we build robots in the first place, right? Every room learns how it's used. It adjusts lighting, temperature, energy, consumption, not only for efficiency, but for well-being. It's almost like the building has a personality, except without the annoying small talk. Think of it as a structure that grows smarter every day, and that's important because if we want humanity to survive long-term, intelligence can't just live in computers or people. It has to live in our infrastructure. Energy independence is crucial to the future of civilization. So here everything runs off clean power. The house doesn't just use electricity, it produces it. Enough to power vehicles, devices, possibly even a small rocket. Not that that's happened recently, and definitely not on purpose. The goal is simple. Remove the idea that sustainability means sacrifice. Why shouldn't the most energy-efficient home also be the coolest home you've ever set foot in? Why shouldn't the place we live make us feel like we've already unlocked level 2 of existence? Too often, innovation is hidden behind factory walls or deep in research labs. I want people to live inside it, experience it, interact with it every day. That's how we normalize the future. And here's the thing, this isn't just for billionaires or tech founders. The real mission is mass accessibility. If a home like this can be built once, it can be built 1,000 times on Earth and soon enough on another planet. A home shouldn't just be a place that shelters life, it should inspire it. It should push you to ask bigger questions, to wake up every day excited about what's possible. This isn't just a home, it's a launch pad for the future. When we think about the future of humanity, we can't just look down at the ground beneath our feet. We have to look up, we have to imagine ourselves among the stars. So when designing this home, the ambition wasn't to create a mansion on Earth, it was to create a habitat that could just as easily exist on Mars. The architecture takes its cues from spacecraft, not suburban neighborhoods. Smooth lines, reinforced materials, pressure, sealed chambers. Everything is inspired by environments where survival depends on innovation. Even the windows are made of aerospace-grade glass. They're designed to give you a panoramic view of the sky at night, because that's where the future is waiting for us. Staring at the stars shouldn't just be poetic, it should be a reminder, a constant encouragement, a call to be bold. There's a reason everything feels like it could detach and launch at any moment. Hallways taper like corridors on a ship. Rooms have multi-function designs, because when you're building for Mars, you don't get the luxury of wasting space. You engineer every square inch with purpose. It's all about readiness to adapt, readiness to explore, readiness to go further than anyone thought possible. And yes, there are blast-proof components. Not because I expect an asteroid to smash into the living room, although statistically, that's never a zero. It's because the next stage of civilization requires structures that can withstand the unknown. We can't just build homes that sit still. We must build homes that endure. One of my favorite features is a dome built specifically for stargazing. It sounds simple, but imagine lying there watching satellites drift past and knowing that in a not too distant tomorrow, those won't just be machines we send up, they'll be cities, entire communities orbiting worlds far beyond our childhood maps. That dome is a quiet reminder that everything starts as a dream no one else believes in. The SpaceX spirit runs through every part of this place. Curiosity, risk, taking, a bit of controlled chaos. If a design doesn't make you ask, why are we doing this? It's probably not ambitious enough. We need homes that challenge us, that whisper, this could launch. Homes that make the idea of becoming a multiplanetary species feel normal, because one day it will be. That's why the house doesn't feel grounded, because it isn't meant to be. It feels like the kind of place someone might live right before humanity takes its greatest leap. We're not preparing for science fiction. We're preparing for the next chapter of human evolution. A home like this doesn't hold us to Earth. It reminds us we're destined for the stars. If you've ever visited a house and the first thing you notice is the garage, you probably think, okay, this person owns too many cars. But in this place, the garage isn't really a garage. It's more like a docking station. The vehicles aren't sitting there waiting for someone to grab the keys. They're thinking, they're planning, they're charging themselves with energy pulled straight from the sun. They're updating maps, scanning surroundings, preparing for the next journey without anyone lifting a finger. That's the mindset here. Technology shouldn't sit idle. It should work quietly in the background, making life easier without demanding attention. And when you walk from room to room, you see that same philosophy everywhere. The floors generate energy from footsteps. Walls made of solar glass absorb light and turn it into power, without blocking the view or making you feel like you're inside a solar farm. Even the lighting responds to your mood and circadian rhythm, because humans function best when biology and technology cooperate instead of compete. Inside, the furniture isn't just decoration. It moves, it adapts to the way you sit or the way you sleep. You don't adjust to the environment adjusts to you. And when you want to go somewhere, the transportation system doesn't start with a car. It starts with autonomy. Vehicles aren't machines you operate, they're partners. They say where to, and get you there while you do literally anything else. This is what Tesla has always been about, taking the idea of a machine and turning it into something that improves your capability. Something sustainable, something intelligent. Imagine walls that talk to cars, cars that talk to the grid that talks to the sun. A continuous loop of clean power that requires zero human guilt. Sustainability shouldn't feel like a sacrifice. It should feel like science fiction finally becoming real. The house even has charging points seamlessly integrated into the structure, floors, walls, rails, so everything stays powered without clutter or cables. The idea is simple. The future shouldn't come with a mess of wires taped to the floor. No one dreams of that future. But the most important part isn't the tech itself, it's what the tech represents. Freedom. Freedom from fossil fuels, freedom from inefficiency, freedom from the belief that luxury and sustainability can't coexist. When technology works right, it doesn't just save the planet, it makes life better. Because why shouldn't your home help you live smarter? Why shouldn't vehicles be as autonomous as your smartphone? Why shouldn't innovation be built into the walls around us? This isn't just a smart home, it's a home that thinks. Now, let's talk about something essential to human progress, play. Innovation isn't fueled only by hard work and spreadsheets and endless meetings. It's fueled by imagination, and imagination thrives when we're having fun. So the entertainment inside this home isn't built around distraction, it's built around inspiration. Take the private VR arena. It's not just a room where you put on a headset and bump into furniture. It's spatially mapped, fully motion tracked, designed so you can explore entire worlds without ever leaving the floor. One moment you're designing a rocket engine, the next you're walking the surface of Mars. Education and entertainment shouldn't be separate categories. The best experiences blur the line until learning feels like play. Then there's the Hyperloop corridor, yes, a functional one. Short, fast, and kind of ridiculous in the best way. It exists because sometimes you just want to get across the house at near supersonic speed. Also because pushing the boundaries of transportation should be fun, even if it's just from the kitchen to the lab. And speaking of labs, creativity doesn't punch a clock. Sometimes inspiration hits at 3 a.m. and you want to be surrounded by an environment that says, go for it. So the entertainment spaces aren't isolated from innovation. They're connected, a movie theater that can transform into a design studio, a gaming chamber that doubles as a neural interface testing zone. Every recreational area has a secondary purpose, unlocking more creativity. Of course, there's a cinema, but not the traditional kind where you sit still and hope no one's eating popcorn too loudly. This one is immersive. Dynamic seating, surround projection. Audio that adapts to what's happening on screen so you feel a rocket launch, not just in your ears, but in your whole body. You don't watch entertainment, you experience it. Even the quieter areas are designed with intention. A music lounge with acoustics tuned to perfection. A library that changes lighting depending on your genre, bright for scientific breakthroughs, soft for science fiction inspiration. Every detail exists to spark curiosity. Entertainment should motivate us to dream bigger, to invent something new, to chase the thoughts that feel impossible. And if that means building a jetpack test course in the backyard, well, hypothetically, that might exist too. But only hypothetically. The point is simple. If you want a future worth building, you have to create environments where creativity thrives effortlessly, where laughter and exploration and a little bit of chaos are part of everyday life. Because a society that only works and never plays won't invent the tools that take us to space, but a society that plays boldly, that society will colonize galaxies. Fun isn't the opposite of progress. Fun is the fuel for progress. There's a certain kind of magic that happens when curiosity doesn't have to wait for permission. Not everything belongs in a boardroom or a scheduled meeting. Some of the most important ideas start as a half-finished thought, a quick sketch on a table, or a what-if, whispered at the wrong time. That's why this home isn't just a place to live, it's a place to invent. A place where imagination has real estate. Hidden throughout the house are rooms that look ordinary from the outside until you step inside and realize they're built for experimentation. Spaces where new concepts can be tested the same day they're imagined. Places where neural interfaces, spacecraft, prototypes, and AI systems can evolve without the limitations of a corporate lab. These aren't top secret bunkers out of a spy movie, though admittedly, some of the doors open like they are. More like creative sanctuaries disguised as regular rooms. Therefore, whenever inspiration decides to crash the schedule, there are walls that become whiteboards, instantly floors that can simulate microgravity resistance, and workbenches wired to power just about anything short of a small star. And yes, there are fire suppression systems ready for the moments when creativity gets a little too enthusiastic. Progress isn't always neat. Sometimes it sparks, sometimes it smokes. That's just part of building the future. The best part is how seamlessly these innovation zones blend into everyday life. Walk down a hallway, turn a corner, and suddenly you're in a rapid prototype space. Sit in a lounge chair and surprise, the armrest contains a touchscreen that connects straight into AI modeling tools. Even a casual conversation over breakfast can become a blueprint by the time the toast pops up. But it's not only about technology, it's about mindset. These rooms exist so the big questions never have to wait. How do we extend human consciousness? How do we build rockets faster and cheaper? How do we prepare to make life multiplanetary? What's the simplest version of the next impossible thing? You surround yourself with environments that constantly whisper, or sometimes shout, keep going, think bigger. Because when you live with easy access to innovation, progress becomes a natural part of everyday existence. The house doesn't just encourage creativity, it expects it. The future isn't built by people who clock in, do what's expected, and go home. The future is built by people who never fully turn off the part of their brain that wonders, this change everything. So why not make a home that welcomes those thoughts openly every minute of the day? A place designed for breakthroughs isn't a luxury. It's the launchpad for humanity's next leap. People hear the word palace, and they imagine chandeliers and gold statues and rooms so fancy you're afraid to touch anything. That's never been the point here. Luxury isn't about shiny objects, it's about freedom. Freedom to think bigger. Freedom to build the future without limits. This home isn't meant to celebrate wealth. It's meant to demonstrate what happens when you refuse to accept that the present is the best we can do. Every innovation inside this place, every solar-powered surface, every autonomous system, every piece of technology that anticipates rather than reacts is here to prove a concept that humanity can live better and smarter without draining the planet we depend on. This isn't a symbol of having more. It's a symbol of what more is possible. I want anyone who walks through the doors to feel a shift, that spark where ambition overtakes doubt. To feel the same excitement a child feels when they discover how something works for the very first time. Because progress doesn't happen when you're content. Progress begins when you look around and decide, we can do better than this. Most houses are designed to protect from the outside world. This one is designed to open the world further, to create new opportunities, new frontiers. It shows that technology and sustainability and imagination can coexist beautifully. It shows that comfort and boldness are not opposites. It shows that the future doesn't need to be feared. It needs to be built, and it's not just about Earth. Everything done here is a rehearsal for the next horizon, for the day when humans take that incredible leap and build a second home on another planet. When the first crew steps into a habitat on Mars, they should feel a kind of familiarity. They should feel like they're already home. That's what this place represents, a blueprint for how life can flourish anywhere. You could strip away the walls and move the entire structure millions of miles away, and it would still function as a symbol of hope, a reminder that we're capable of much more than anyone expects. We don't have to accept limitations just because they're traditional. We don't have to inherit a future defined by fear or scarcity. We can design one defined by possibility. A home like this isn't built just to be lived in. It's built to inspire the belief that every one of us can push humanity forward. That the next great breakthrough might come not from a lab or a boardroom, but